about this team in Minneapolis?
Um, we got a bunch of young guys out there, and we sometimes get overwhelmed in moments. Not overall, because I think we played well in some large parts of every one of our games, but just youth learning how to develop some consistency is a challenge, and it's one that we're trying to fight our way through right now.
Did you sort of walk off the court wishing there were like 2 minutes left? Because it seemed like you guys had all the momentum those
Uh,
final 10 minutes.
yeah, I mean there was also enough time. I mean we had enough time. We just didn't execute well enough. We fouled too much in critical moments. Obviously the free throws speak for themselves. We had some really critical turnovers. So, yeah, there was enough time for us to get the job done. I don't know if 2 more minutes would have necessarily been better for us. We may have two less players out there by that point. Um, but we just have to learn that we got to take advantage of opportunities to win away from home when we have the chance. And now we've had two of those where we've let them get away from us.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Alex.
Oh, thank you. You were mentioned the foul trouble as well. What do you think with a group of freshmen like that? How do you try to keep that from happening and teach them in practice?
We just got to continue to show them on film. I mean, some of it is brand new to them. The speed of the game is something you can't really simulate. And so when they get out there, things happen quick. And playing against older guys, going out there against a guy like Jordan Murphy, who's a very aggressive player. Again, I saw it on film. I anticipated that being an issue, but there was nothing I could do before, except for tell them, like, this is probably what you can expect. But Jordan Murphy was a freshman at some point too. He dealt with those things, and now he knows better how to stay away from those issues. And it's a process those kids have to learn.
When they made some of their runs, it was but also Cam was in foul trouble too. When you're missing both of those guys, how much does that sort of handcuff what you guys are able to do, especially defensively?
Yeah, it's definitely more so defensively and rebounding. And so that's what a concern is we got to find some other guys who can help rebound. We obviously went really small there for a large part of the second half, but that's a really good lineup for us because we can space the floor out. We got pretty much everybody on the floor can shoot, and so there's some things that you can grow positive out of that. You can see that, all right, maybe if we need to press or if we need to really drive the basketball, we can play with 3 or 4 guards that are playmaking type kids at one time. But we have to solve the issue of yours foul issues. No different than what we had a senior who had some issues last year. Mitchell Solomon was in foul trouble quite a bit throughout his career, and I'm certain that you will figure it out, and we'll try to help him as much as we can.
I like my experience going against someone like Jordan Murphy. Help those guys come conference season. We have some of those experienced big guys down inside.
Yeah, we're gonna face guys like him throughout conference play. Texas is really big. Kansas is always big. Texas got some good size. K-State's got good size, so it's good preparation. The schedule's put together for a reason because I wanted to make sure that once we got to January 5th or whatever that first league game is, that these guys wouldn't be blown away by size and athleticism. And so, it's hard to go through it. It's hard to lose those games this time of year, but it's a big picture here, and we're trying to prepare ourselves to be playing our best basketball once the calendar turns.
The trip to Tulsa 2 years ago stuck out because it was a big game for that freshman class. Obviously, having Juwan and Phil down. What do you remember about that game, being an assistant at the time?
I don't remember much about wins, to be honest. I remember Thomas made some big free throws late. I remember those guys all being on the court together pretty much toward the end, and Lindy made a couple of big shots, but nothing else specific. I thought at that moment it was a good sign of that these kids, if they continue to work, have a chance to become really productive players. I do remember coming back that night and those guys coming in the gym with me and shooting. Thomas and Cam, and I think Lucas and Brandon were part of that group as well. So I knew the type of work ethic that they had as well. So again, I remember the losses a lot more than I remember the wins, unfortunately.
How much of the team's free throw struggles in Minnesota do you think was mental? Because it seemed to be a lot of the younger guys that were missing them, and they seem like good shooters just watching them in practice and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm much more concerned that we've been out rebounded 4 out of our first 7 games, and we're turning the ball over at a much higher rate than we need to right now than I am about the free throws. I mean, we practice them. Me trying to make it a big deal isn't going to help them make them. And we honestly do have really good free throw shooters. I mean, we went 14 for 18, I think, our first game. we've had 2 games where we're close to 80% as a team for the game. So, it happens. It's part of, again, the ugly, tough process of you have to concentrate every time you step up there, and every shot's really important. And you don't just go up there and throw it up at the rim. You get a routine and you do exactly what you practice every day. And sometimes freshmen don't have the mental capacity to just focus in on that important task at the moment. Just like blocking out or maybe talking on the ball screen coverage. It's all part of the process of growing.
What are your highlights of this year's Tulsa team? What do you take away from them as you watch them?
They're a really good offensive team. They've got a really good point guard who doesn't really turn the ball over much. They've got 2 guys inside, Jeffries and I can't remember how to pronounce the other big kid's name, who are pretty efficient scorers as well. So they'll pose some different challenges. Jeffries plays more on the perimeter than some of the other 4 men we've played, different than Murphy. Murphy was more of an inside guy. He shoots threes. But again, the key is transition defense, which was absolutely atrocious for us the other day. And we have to rebound the ball much better than we did against Minnesota.
Were those rebounding issues in your eyes more a result of not having Cam and or is that just going to be kind of a continual problem for this team?
Well, first of all, I do want to give. He's got 51 double-doubles now. I mean, in his career. So I would be completely wrong to not give that kid credit. That's what he does, and that's what he's done against everybody he's played against for 2 years now. So a lot of credit goes to him, and we just weren't good enough or mature enough to stop him from being really good at what he does. But we do have to get, Lindy had 8 rebounds. We've had Ice get 9 rebounds, and we've got to get our guards helping. We can't just put it on those big guys because sometimes they're blocking out, and the guards can come in and help them, or the guards can come help them block out where they can go get more opportunities to grab them. So, it's a team effort. It always is in a rebounding world. But again, all the credit goes to Jordan Murphy. I mean, I know they lost yesterday. I don't know what his stat line was, but I'd be shocked if he didn't have another double-digit rebounding game.
How difficult is it? You have a team that wants to run, obviously, and successful when you run, but also getting the guards to commit to going for that rebound, because if they start to get out and run too early, then the other team's going to get the offensive board.
Yeah, it's something we need to continue to make an emphasis. We always talk about we can't run without the ball. I mean, and we have enough athleticism and team speed that we can secure the ball and still get down the court pretty quickly. And when our guards rebound, it's one less pass that we have to make. So when Ice gets a rebound or Lindy, those guys can just start to break themselves. So it's just again, continue to make it an emphasis. And you can't do that without coming out on the floor and doing it and watching them practice. And guys, because we have good kids, I don't worry their intent. I just worry about their mental capacity to actually do it consistently. They want to do the right thing, and they think while they're on the court that they did the thing that I'm telling them they didn't do. I take a kid out, he's looking at me like I got 3 eyeballs. I'm like, you didn't block out? And he's like, I sure did. And then we come watch the film, and that's you right there. And, that's what you were talking about. But in the moment, they don't realize it, and that's part of youth.
Do you have a date when you'll get Curtis available?
I mean, finals is next week, so we anticipate when finals is over, he'll be cleared from an academic standpoint. I guess the first game after finals.